Here we are. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the live. This is Sisters of the Mystical Tarot, and this is my week for my choice. And I'm glad to be here with you with my sisters. I have with me Marina from Heart Centered Tarot, and I have Val from Dragonfly Crystals and Next Level Channeling. And I have Shari, which I don't know if I can do this, from Voices from the Swamp. Yeah. So thank you, ladies.
I'm under Marina.
That's right. I want to shout out to Sharon, Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot. She's just not felt well for the last couple of weeks. So I hope she gets feeling better. I understand that these things happen. And much love to you, Sharon. I hope you're okay, dear.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about flow today and how to find flow. And I don't mean the lady that was the waitress in Alice or her own show, wasn't it?
My grits.
Yeah, Kiss My Grits flow.
Kiss my grits. Yes,
yeah.
Lord.
But you know, there are some wonderful things to talk about that Val's going to bring in that, you know, maybe some of these, it's harder for some of us than it might be for another, depending on our personalities and our ways of learning and accepting the world. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we have 5 readings to do today because we had 5 people post on our board. So we'll get to that as well. So thank you all for being here. And let's say hello to a few people here. All right, we've got I was going to say Shari and Marina. They're already here. Kristen F. We have Joyce Luther Williams, Amanda Carroll. We have Mary Starshine and Willow. And I do want to shout out, thank you to everybody who's donated to Willow. Honestly, sisters, you were wonderful to do that. And we are up over about $2,200 in there now. And so Linda G posted it on her channel, and you know what happens. But anyway, the community has come out and really helped her out a lot. So thank you, everybody. Just want to say thank you.
Hi, Ross. About it. She and I did a show together Monday.
Okay.
Monday, and it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I got up and I had gained like over 100 subscribers. I was like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
That happens. Congratulations. So Linda H., Laura Hammond Davis, Marby, Lori Hunsinger, Ginger Johnson is here. 3 Shifting Veils, Aline Bernard, Wayne's here, Randy's here. Wow. Lacey Gray, Earthstar Janny, Courtney Elf, Christine Fryer. Hi, Dr. Ann. Much love to you, dear. Yes, the autolectic state. Yes, absolutely. Suzanne Marine D'Amico, Suzanne Grigsby. Suzanne, on here, we don't take questions from the chat. It's just what we decided in the very beginning. You'd have to put them on my own or one of the ladies' community pages. If you know, hopefully you'll be able to determine if you're in the flow or not. So Barbara Nesper, let's see who else snuck in when I was yammering. Sonia J is here, and Paula Ravita is here, and Freeze on the chat again. I'm sorry. Happens a lot, doesn't it? People
yes.
On the chat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about this. I think I forgot about the autolectic state, so I'm going to look that up at some point, Anne. But I'm going to just give you a little bit of an idea. There's a fellow that wrote a book back in 1990. His name is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and was a professor of philosophy and a Czechoslovakian man. And he wrote several books. He wrote Flow, Finding Flow, and he also wrote Creativity, which I've read all 3 of them. And that's his name. And I learned how to say it, so it never went away. Because if you look at it, it's like you can't figure out how to say it. So.
Yeah, it's like half of my faculty and students. If I look at their name, I can't say it.
Can you buy a vowel? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Maria.
No, I was going to say I tried to say it over and over and over again, and I finally thought, no, that's okay. The flow guy.
The flow guy.
The flow guy. I like that.
Yes. And actually, flow is an autolectic state. It is a state of being that once we get into that particular thing, things just happen. And that's really what the whole idea is that you can, I almost think you can step away from something and not have any attachment to it and let things flow. We talk about that in our cards a lot. You know, get out of the way and let things sort of trip over you as you go along.
Yes.
But some of the other things that he mentions are that flow can be accomplished if you have reasonable chance of completing something. So let's say, for instance, do I want to write a book or do I want to write an article? Well, reasonably, probably could get the article written before I could get the book written. So, you know, it's kind of like that, that you have the clear goals that you want. And I'm going to say that track stars, this works for track stars and swimming people, things like that. Immediate feedback. You get immediate feedback from whatever it is that you do, whether it's just like, wow, that happened. And it's like it was waiting for you to happen. It's a deep but effortless involvement that removes us from awareness by frustrations and worries of everyday life. And it's a sense of control over things, which is really something we don't get. And there's no concern for self-alteration of the concept of time. So in other words, and I think all of us can agree this has happened to us at least once. Shari said it, Val said it, Marina said it, and you're busy, you're doing something and you look up and like 10 hours has gone by, something like that, unless you had to pee, I guess. But there's also the you'll be doing something. And I've said this before, oh, it's only been an hour? Really? And I got all that done? You know, so it could be that too. So anyway, that's what he says about. And so I'm going to let the ladies talk about what they'd like to say about it. So Marina, I'm going to start with you. What would you like to say about it?
Wonderful. I do like being in the flow because that's when I feel I accomplish the most, because it seems that whatever I'm doing becomes effortless. There is I don't feel any roadblocks. Everything just goes with the flow. It's just like walking, one foot in front of the other, and before you know it, you've traveled a great distance. And I distinctly remember, as I was trying to remember, you know, some instances that I could give you, but years ago, I ran my own business. And one of the things that I had to do was I had suppliers that I would get their catalogs, and I would have to know what their pricing was versus what I was charging my the consultants that were working under me versus what I was charging the client. So it was, you know, having to do a little bit of calculation and so on. And I distinctly remember I had one catalog that was, it was really huge. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's going to take a good long time. And then it was like, okay, let's just get started. I put on some classical music, took a deep breath and started. Mm-hmm. And before I knew it, I had more than half of the catalog that was done. And when I finally sort of stopped, I was a little shocked because it's like, oh my God, I don't remember doing page 3. I don't remember doing page 10, but clearly I did. You know, here's your proof, right? Yeah. So
there's your immediate feedback, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, immediate feedback, and
that's
it's
awesome.
It's nice, and I think. Mm-hmm. With a lot of people, with a lot of women, I'm going to suggest that a lot of it happens when you're in the later stages of labor, when you get to the point that you are in so much pain that you go somewhere else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No one told me that though before I got pregnant.
No, they don't. They keep it a secret. Yeah, they keep it a secret, but yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So
Thank you, Marina. Thank you. We got a little bit of feedback here from Janie. Whenever I'm being creative, I'm in the flow and then channeling someone else who's painting. I love that
Yes.
because I think every part
That's
of our
awesome.
creative process is a lot of channeling, honestly.
Yes.
So, yeah, but
Yeah.
you're opening yourself to that ability and you're letting it flow through you. So Val, go ahead on with what you'd like to say.
Okay. So for me, flow is really about your own interconnection to your emotions and your creativity. So when I get excited about something, or when I have, say I'm creating a class, a whole entire class, say it's 7 classes, that's a pretty big thing. But
Mhm.
somehow if I just do one outline where I'm using my logical mind and I set that aside, then I just decide, oh, I feel like I can do this now. And I sit down and I start with the first topic and I really engage in that. And all of a sudden it starts channeling through me.
Mhm.
So just like Marina, you don't realize it and you've got the whole class, the whole
Right.
entire series.
Yes.
Right. And you go, wow.
Yeah.
And so for me, there is no sense of control. It isn't a sense of being in control or out of control.
Yes.
It's just flow. It's something bigger than you that comes in and is working through you. To do a whole class and not even be conscious of it, and at the end, it's all there, and you go, damn, this is some good stuff.
Who did this?
I know.
Who did this?
I've written papers for my thesis.
Yes.
And after 2 or 3 years later, I read it. It's like, who wrote this?
Yes,
Did I write
exactly.
this?
It's
No.
exactly that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in my way of doing flow, I like what this guy says. He has a lot of really good points, but it's
Yes.
very intellectually centered. But for the creative person, we just go right into our creative
Mhm.
sense, open up, and it just
Yeah.
happens, you know.
Unless we, when we have a creative block and we say,
Yeah,
oh,
there are the
like-
times when
Yeah.
our mind is busy with something else or something like
Right.
that. That is when you kind of have this place where you can't just let it flow. So you got to clear your mind and
Mhm.
yeah, so that's true. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's what I have
All
to say.
right. Miss Shari, what about you?
I think the best examples for myself personally has just been when I've been in the car driving, and I get in the car and I look at my watch and okay, I got to get there in X amount of time, and I start driving, and then suddenly I'm where I'm supposed to be and I don't remember driving there. It's like I don't remember passing any of the normal stuff that you would see on the side of the roads, buildings, businesses, whatnot. And you're like, wait a minute, how did I get all the way across town?
I know.
And I've done
Who
it
drove
on
the car? Who drove the car, right?
right. Yeah, who was driving? Because it wasn't
Right.
me. I've done it on long trips where, like I'm going over to Baton Rouge, or if I'm going over to New Orleans. And it's going to be X amount of hours to get there. And you start driving and you just go into this haze, especially when you're on the interstate, between the sounds and just that steady cruise level. And the next thing you know, you're pulling into the city that you're aiming for. And you're like, I just left. How did I get here this fast? Of course, we could pull a bow and show up at the same time we left. And that would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
I've done it when I've been reading books. I get into a good book and completely lose myself.
Yes, Shari.
And then look up and it's 4
You
hours
disappear into it, right, Shari? It's like,
I mean, and
That's
just, or watching a good movie. There have been times when I've sat down to watch a movie and thought, well, I'll catch the first few minutes. And if it looks interesting, I'll save it. I'll hit record and I'll watch it later. To only realize suddenly you're at the end of the movie and you never budged. It grabbed you from the very minute, and you were just you were into the zone.
Laser focused.
Laser focused on it. And I've done it typing whenever I've been like typing up papers and stuff for some of the professors, and I'll be sitting there and I'm typing away because I've got my stuff up and I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. And next thing I know, I'm like turning to the last page. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't remember flipping the other pages.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I was
really
just
awesome.
going right along. And I go and I look back at what I've typed. Well, no, I typed everything. I didn't like miss the majority of the paper.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
but yeah, it's really, it's odd and it's a little unsettling sometimes, at least for me.
Yeah, you're right. You're
But
absolutely right.
at the same time, it's also soothing
Mhm.
because
It is
you
soothing.
just kind of cruised right along, and we were all in cruise control and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Wow, that's awesome. So Ginger said she was painting a little while ago. She had to set her phone alarm because she gets lost in it. So there's your flow, Ginger. Yeah. And the cool thing is you knew you were going to. So you decided you'd set your alarm. So your flow is I don't know, is kept as flow, knowing that you're going to have an ending to it in a way. Because Janny says remind her never to ride with Shari. Yeah.
never had a wreck.
That's
never
right.
had a wreck.
That's right. Yes.
I've been in a few
Suzanne
wrecks, but I
Grigsby.
was never driving. So
Suzanne Grigsby, thank you for being a new member. Welcome, welcome. So
Yes,
happy.
absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Linda H, sometimes I start reading before I know it. I've read 5 books on your Nook. Oh my goodness. That's fabulous, Linda. Wow.
Yes.
You do all right in my literature class because I have to have them all read. So my perfect flow is when I have to grade and I will sit and say, oh God, I got to grade. I got to grade. And I won't procrastinate, but today I knocked out 45 15-page papers.
Wow. Yeah, that's in the flow.
That's in the flow. Yeah. And I have to read them
definitely.
like I don't know how to speed read. I have to speed read, and I'm looking for what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for if they've done this or that. But I feel like, wow, I got, I spent 4 hours or something, but it was worth it.
That's like 500, 600 pages of. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's the
you
one
see
part
book
of my job
editors that do that. That'll have an author bring in a manuscript this thick, and they sit down and will read the whole thing in an hour, hour and a half. To give it an all clear or not, it's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it is.
I read fast, but not that fast.
Not that fast. Anya says a friend of hers was drafting plans for an assignment. More than halfway through, she realized it was in the wrong scale. So she asked her angels for help and finished it. No memory of the whole thing.
Oh,
that is being in the flow.
It really is.
Holy. Wow.
Absolutely.
All right. A lot of people are saying listening to music puts them in the flow and time goes by. Liz says you paint when listening to YouTube psychics and you can see the colors of their spirits and auras. And you did it while listening to Linda G and Center the Painting. That's wonderful. I had Thayer Hutchinson do that for me. She sent me a picture.
I had Pat in through a colored lens did that for me. The first time I met her and she was, you could see her doodling on paper as everybody was taking turns talking. And when the show was over and we were all backstage, she says, Shari, I drew your energy. Can I send it to you? And it's just an abstract, but it was like all these bright colors. I was like, well, at least it wasn't dark.
Yeah,
that's a plus in my book.
It is a plus. It is a plus.
Absolutely.
Mickey says she was at a Hamsa painting and found out I painted aspects of my beliefs. I had the outline of a wolf's head, outer world aspects in one artwork without intending this.
Oh, that's awesome.
You are so think about this though. Val could tell you, and Marina, they do channeling. This is really getting yourself out of the way, and channeling is part of the being in the flow.
Automatic writing and that kind of stuff.
Oh, Mary Thornberry, they're really awful papers. Yeah.
It's only been this past semester that I've heard it the most with AI now and the chat
Yeah.
GPT. I can't tell you how many of my professors I've heard come into the office complaining about they get a fourth of the way through papers and they're like, okay, wait, no, I've read this before. And then they go pull the book off their shelf and it's, chapter and verse for pages.
Yes.
And
Oh, it's very bad. It's very
chat
bad.
GPT just spits it out. And the
I had
students
someone
just
pass
write
the
it.
paper in. They did the first part, okay, then they had the references. And then I saw something, and so I went further down, and they had more of their paper below the references. It was like, no, that's not where you put them. Yeah, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. Mary Thayer bought a house in New Mexico, and she's just really living life and painting. She hasn't been on anymore, just so you know. And yes, Amanda, cooking is better with flow. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you watched Out on a Limb. That's awesome. Thank you all for sharing the things that you find flow in your own life. There's so much more exciting when you can identify with something that's that's talked about, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what that was. So if any of you, cleaning is better with music. Thank you. Yes.
I have yet to get in the flow of cleaning, by the way.
Thank you. Neither have I.
Well, I don't think any of us want to ever do that, but I will tell you, my husband will say to me, Aley's in banshee mode. Because what happens is I'll get up in the morning and I'll see, this has to be done. The dishes have to be taken out, and I got to put the laundry in. So I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then
I would be like banshee mode if I had to take care of something. It'd just be like, okay, I can't stand this anymore. Banshee mode. There's people coming.
I haven't gone into my kitchen yet since I got home from work, because it's like my brother cooked last night and the night before. So just y'all heard me complain about it. It's like a bomb blew up in there, and it's like, okay, I can't deal with it today. I'm not even gonna go in there.
I wouldn't even go up to see my husband in the RV back before he came, last year, because it was so gross in there. With him living there without me. I didn't want to go up there and clean his mess up. So I was like, I'm not going up there. Yeah.
We clean our own messes up.
Yeah. I don't want to have to deal with
it. My husband does his own laundry. Let me tell you.
Good girl.
Nice. Did a good job.
Yep. Oh, Garnet, Garnet brings up gardening, and gardening can put you in the flow as well. And not only that, but you're grounded and you're in a really good sort of space.
That's what I've heard. I kill plants. So
I like gardening when I'm just planting new things. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Is it?
Not pulling weeds.
So,
Rose, I have ordered them to clean it. Their idea of clean and my idea of clean are two separate universes.
Oh, I agree with you, Shari. Yeah.
So it's like just I've gotten to the point where it's like, just leave it. And I'll take care of it, because
get out of my way.
Yes.
Okay, so Elena likes it. Time flies when she's crocheting, and that's beautiful. I love that. And Connie says hiking in the mountains.
Absolutely,
that can happen too.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks everybody for offering some of the ways that you've been in the flow. And if you were ever on the track team or on the swim team or whatever, the coaches would have you and what they would also have you do is to imagine yourself running, which is what we do when we say, when you want to manifest something, you have to believe you already have it and see it and feel it and everything. And that's what they do with flow with athletes.
And they call it the zone. Being in the zone.
Yeah. But we definitely we can manifest things through flow as well. Just remember that. Very good.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, thank you, everybody. That's wonderful. So we do have some questions that we're going to answer today, but anything else, ladies, that you wanted to say before we move on?
No, that was a good topic.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely explanation. I love the explanations because
it's interesting. It's I remember when the book first came out and I read it, I thought, oh my God, this is wonderful, But yes, I do agree, Val, that it is more of a sort of an intellectual pursuit in a lot of ways. but it also is a very creative pursuit.
But it's an intellectual pursuit, only the way he wrote it. For me, it's a natural thing that happens to me when I get in my creative spot, which has been happening from day one, not the day he wrote the book. But it's, he didn't invent the flow. But he wrote about it so that people could understand they can get themselves.
They can get there. That's right.
Yeah.
And me and my creative bunch of people we're in the flow.
Yeah, we're in it. Yeah,
we're already doing
that,
it.
and people who've been doing it and didn't understand what was happening.
What it was.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're reading about, that's what I'm doing.
It is a good, I like everything he wrote about it in terms of what it is, what it feels like, and understanding that. Then you go, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
I'm going to do more of that because you have that.
I do Geek On, and it's a wonderful flow.
And I've done karate forms and Tai Chi, and that's another thing. I mean, you're using flow.
Geek On
really
is more of an offshoot of the Tai Chi, and it's really good, especially for those of us with spinal injuries and stuff.
Sure.
Because it's very slow moving, and so
Marby is going to come over our house afterwards when she's done cleaning her own house.
Yeah, Marby.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Can I be first?
Marby, we're waiting for you.
Yeah. I'm the first away.
I know she has a lot of play fair to play to.
I will cook for you if you come clean my house.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Mary, that reminds me of Lucy on the assembly line with the candy, remember?
She and Ethel and the
they said, oh, you're doing a great job, so we're going to speed it up, right?
It was just going so fast, she was having to put it under her hat.
Stuffing it down her shirt and her mouth.
Oh, yeah. That was Lucy, nobody could do it like Lucy, could they? Or Ethel.
I know.
Yeah. They were great.
I just want to say, artist Liz, I think that's you that wrote this. I do Qigong. I love Qigong. It's one of my favorite energy movements because it's just so free flowing, and everything you're bringing in the energy. You're doing all kinds of things with your kidneys and your. And I love that. I get so energized from it.
Now, Marby. Honestly, girlfriend,
don't
tempt me.
Don't tease me.
You are willing to back it up.
She lives closest to me, so she can come to me first.
Oh, that's true, Shari. And you've already seen her, so you know.
And I've met her, so
you've met her. Yeah.
Oh,
man. That's
that
awesome.
works.
All right, everybody. So thank you. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate all your interactions and letting us know what you find flows for you. And I'm the same with Shari. I've gotten in the car and I've been really tired, but I've then ended up at home and wondered how I got there. So I've been there. It's kind of unsettling when you get home, I think. But at the same time, you may have driven it so often. It's like, you're on autopilot.
They say that they say that your higher self takes over, and that's when they take you and you're actually getting some kind of instruction. You're communicating on a higher level, and so you're really safe because there will be no accidents with that kind of driving. It's okay.
Yeah. Bye, Mary. It was nice to see
Mary.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mary.
Yeah. Thielen, flow versus disassociation. Learned I could intentionally disassociate a few years ago, but now how do I distinguish it from healthy flow?
Disassociate feels like you're not in that. You know how I talked about your heart and being in the emotional connection and feeling excited or blissful? Yeah. That would be flow. Disassociation would be I'm not connected to anything. I don't feel. So you would know by that.
Yeah.
Would be the differentiation.
Yep. Absolutely.
You want to feel. Yeah. You want to feel.
And Anya, yes, it was Jim Thorpe breaking the long jump back in the day. It's a lot of the athletes will tell you that that's what they did. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Fabulous. All right. So let's see. Let's get our questions coming up here. All right. The first question we have is from Pat Lee. Oops. Let me enter it. I don't know, Pat, are you here? I'm hoping you are. She just wonders if she'll get the job she recently interviewed for. 2 interviews that seemed to go well 2 weeks ago. No offer yet. Okay. Yes, Barbara, you had to put it on the community page. This is the show. You have to do that ahead of time. Yeah. Ooh.
You want me to go?
Yeah. Whoever wants.
Who is it for? Pat
Lee. Oh, so sorry. It didn't come up.
No, I've seen one up there. So, oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I got the Hanged Man. So that's. She says it's been a couple of weeks, right? So that's her waiting for an answer. Just kind of chill with that wait, because I feel like something's going to come through. One of them. But yeah, the spirits just got you in a waiting zone right now.
Yeah.
And I have no fear, which matches Shari's.
There you go.
Absolutely. And what do I get? I get an acorn. What's an acorn do? It's good luck energy, good things to come. So yeah.
They are in the process of, they're not going to tell you that things are changing kind of behind the scenes, but I think that there is someone who might kind of have an influence on this position, that they are just waiting to kind of walk out the door. So stuff is happening behind the scenes, and they want to make sure that when they're ready to come in with the offer, that it's a clean offer, that they don't have to do any of the dirty work before afterwards. Yeah, they're just be patient.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt, to reach out to them and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm, hope things are going well on your side. I'm still very interested.
I've done that, and I've also sent a thank you note before. It was great writing, or even an email. It was great chatting with you. I'm still interested. And yada, yada.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ladies. All right. Yes. Bye, Dr. Ann. Take care of yourself. We're all loving you.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. So we have Marilyn 9/13. Okay. Hello. Will the truth come to light and set my son free? More importantly, will he free himself from the past? Okay. We usually don't like to take secondhand sort of, but I'm gonna, we'll do it this time. But if you're asking questions, try to make them for yourself. If you can do that, when in the chat. Hello, Peter. Nice to see you. Hi, Sandy Miller.
They're very big sticklers on what Aley just said. Get your power back. So they're saying, put your awareness on yourself and concentrate on what's happening within you. And believe it or not, this shifts those around you. So your loved ones will actually shift and be more affected by the light you bring in for your own. I know it sounds like a convoluted, long way to handle it, but it's not. It's actually shorter to just do this work first and let your son, it'll all work out by doing this. Okay, thank you.
Nice.
I pull guidance. And it's talking about when you let divine intelligence be your foundation, everything flows. You've got that focus. He'll have that focus that North Star to focus on. Thank you. That's the word I was trying to come out with. That'll help him move along with his life and hopefully make better choices going forward.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I get the King of Cups. And the first thing that I heard with this was that it is a very emotional time for him. And you need to step back. Don't put pressure on him in terms of will the truth come to light, because the next question is whose truth. Because you will assign a meaning to that truth. So this is something that he has to come to on his own.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. I got the healing stones. So he needs to heal himself before anything else comes his way. And you'll notice that, he's sort of sequestered, laying down and holding on to some of the stones. It says he needs to take himself, be more tender with himself, take more care of himself, be gentle, and also to nourish himself. We have to love the self first before we can love others and before we can make changes. And when we're angry and don't forgive ourselves for past mistakes, then what happens is that we just wallow in that. It's very, very difficult to move forward. Yeah. So, as a mother, we certainly understand that you are concerned for your son, but I really do agree with the ladies that it's gonna come from him, and it will in divine timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Right. Yeah.
I just want to mention, and Lizzie, sorry, we don't take questions from the chat. However, you can visit any of our channels and go to the community tabs, and you can post your question under any of the videos under the this video after the show airs, and we'll certainly take a look at it next week.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. All righty then. So the next question we have is from Ginger Johnson. What do you or my guides see for me in the next 2 months? A lot of heat. A lot of heat.
What? Yeah.
Lemonade.
Ice cream.
Sweet tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Homemade ice cream.
Oh, Shari.
That came in like somebody turning that crank, that kind of.
Yes.
Not the electric ones, the kind you have to turn yourself.
The kind you have to do yourself. Yay.
Oh, boy, that just sounds so good.
Yeah. Cold watermelon. Amen. Yes. I love cold watermelon.
Lovely.
Well, I have to tell you, Ginger, I'm getting defeat, this card, but really it's about some kind of it feels like you've been in a relationship or a work relationship, something where you are going to have to, there's an element of self-sabotage, self-sacrifice, and deception going on from you toward understanding this situation that is not good for you. And there is going to be a break, whether it's the end of a job or the end of a relationship. You may feel that it's important for you to see the truth and to take those steps to choose your path wisely, because you are precious to everyone and you need to love yourself as much as we love you. So know that. Beautiful. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. Miss Shari?
I pulled death. Now, that does not mean anything bad. What that's saying is that nothing is staying the same. Changes are happening. These are going to be pleasant changes if that's what you focus on. If you focus on the negative, it can make it be a negative change. But if you focus on the positive, you can get a lot of positivity out of all this change. It's just a matter of letting things move and readjust so that they get where they need to be.
Great. Thanks, Sharon.
I absolutely agree. I pulled the 9 of Wands, and this is in the traditional Rider-Waite, the picture would be like the wounded warrior. So it's like what Val was talking about really, really resonated with me. So I think that you're give some thought to what has happened over the last little while and how much of your autonomy you have allowed someone else to take over. And you can decide for yourself that, you know what, I can let someone take my power, or I can take my power back. So one of the ways to do that is to just examine the situation. And I think you know exactly the situation that we're talking about. Yeah, it's time to almost say, look, I can be the victim or I can be the survivor, and I choose to be the survivor. So out of my way, I'm putting up boundaries, and yeah, time for you to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this card matches everything that you ladies have said, and it's something that I teach in my literature classes, and it's the hero's journey. Okay. So I know you're not a man, so it's the heroine's journey, but it doesn't matter. It's just, that's the journey we take. We take our hero's journey starts out when we're born and goes all the way around until we pass. But in between that, we have separate little hero's journeys that come and go. And it's taking off and going into the darkness, and it's finding people to help you along the way, and it's meeting hidden enemies, and then it's coming to a conclusion, and it's finding the jewel or finding the thing you're looking for, and then it's deciding to take it back. But when you go on your way back, things happen too. But you eventually get back to the beginning again, and then you start a different hero's journey. So I always tell my students, you know, you're in the middle of going to school, and so this is a hero's journey for you, or a new job, or a new channel, or whatever. And we're constantly going through it, and there's good and bad, and that's just the way it will always be. But you're the hero in your own journey, and you will get to the end, and you will be able to move on and go into the next phase. So
Absolutely.
How gorgeous is that? That was awesome that you guys really had all the components of it. Yeah, you really did. Yeah. So thank you so much. All right. So this question here, I will give you a little feedback on it because it's a follow-up to her question on Sunday that she gave for Terry Suzuki and I. So hang on, let me get it up. Oh, you've been putting off dental surgery because of the cost, Ginger? Do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do it. That's your relationship with your teeth, honey.
Sure. Of course.
Yes.
You come first, darling.
Come first. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And don't wait until you have to have full dentures.
Yeah.
No, she's not. She's made a decision and she had it done. So good girl.
Good. I mean,
all
I
right.
come out soaking a glass every night. So
I know.
I would much rather have my real teeth, but at least
it is what it is. That's right.
Take yourself, which is excellent.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
So Teelan asked Terry and I on Sunday if people are surprised to learn they can communicate with us when they pass, though they didn't believe it when they were here. Yeah. And I told the story of my friend Charles, who was a strict Catholic, and he used to tease me for being a Buddhist. And when he passed, I went to a psychic, and they said, Charles wants to come through and tell you that you were right about everything. And so because you're in that all-knowing state, and that's happens to you when you get to the other side. So she said, most need to learn mediumship, their abilities here. Do spirits have to learn this ability, or is it automatic? Her father is the strongest spirit presence of all she's felt, but she doesn't think that he would have believed this was possible when he was here. So
that's a multi-layered question, because here's the thing. and I just watched a show on this, and I think it was, oh gosh, that psychic medium who has the mustache, kind of older guy, James Van Praagh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a podcast.
He's got a YouTube channel too.
And yeah, I think this was on his YouTube channel. But this is about, he said there are levels of souls, unless you're, if you're really a lower level of, we'll say, younger soul, and maybe you still have 3D, you're really attached to the 3D world, and you cross over, and you're not advanced enough to really understand you're free when you're out of your body.
Right.
Then you stick yourself, it's like When Dreams May Come, that movie, you stick yourself in a level that you feel matches your consciousness. But if you're already free in your thinking and in your mind to accept new things, you're going to go over there and you're going to have heaven. So 9 times out of 10, these people are probably a lot more advanced than you think. And when they get over there, they know, oh my gosh, yeah, look what I can do. My son crossed over at 38, and he would never proclaim that he believed in any of this. And he's communicated plenty of times. He's shown up a full body apparition.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, your consciousness level upon leaving and going into the higher dimensions, and those dimensions, there's like 12 in between. So you go to the 5th dimension, you can be on some of those lower levels. You get to be where you feel comfortable, where your consciousness resides or resonates with.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
That's
Absolutely.
great. Thank you.
Per James Van Praagh.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, don't forget, we are all on our journey, our own journey. And part of that is being able to come to certain decisions for ourselves based on what we know, what we feel, what we hear, that sort of thing. So if we were, there would be no purpose in all of us coming down here and just automatically be connected to the higher realms without doing any of the work. So when we go through the process of doing the work, we are reestablishing the relationship that we have, that we sort of brought down with us. We're remembering what it was that we had. But it's, you got to do a little bit of the work, right?
Yeah, you have to. It's the game. The game down here on Earth is very simple.
Yep.
There's this contrast between good and bad, so we can see and right and wrong and yin and yang. And that contrast is there for our experience. How else would we know this blissful who we really are? And we finally, at the end, hopefully come to that conclusion that, oh my God, this isn't us. This isn't me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And, I wish it was easier.
I know. But it is an all-knowing state over there. I mean, you get there and it's like, even if you didn't know, you're going to find out because it's a power place.
It's a power place, and you are going to know. And they say you can absolutely go from this, in that heaven planes of like 12 layers of heaven. You can definitely move up in as you progress and realize things. But, it's up to you.
Definitely. Miss Shari, you want to add anything in here?
I pulled energetic clearing.
Getting rid of all those lower energies.
That's right. You got to clean out the system. You gotta flush everything out. Get yourself in a place where you're willing and ready to accept what Divine Source has to offer for you.
Yeah.
Because they can't bring in all the good if you got all the bad clogging up all the drains.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
This is part of the game. You got to learn that there's work you have to do.
Yeah.
Because you're making a choice to
Yes, absolutely.
align yourself with your light.
That's right.
And,
And Mary's right. All of life requires work with some sort of energy, including breathing, actually.
Yeah.
And all life is an energy exchange as well. We've talked about that on here before.
Yeah.
That you're exchanging something to get some other kind of energy. So it's a great question, T-Lynn, and it's interesting, and a lot of people didn't really know that. So thank you so very much. Thank you, Ginger Johnson. That's very nice of you. Thank you, my dear. All right.
I just want to mention to Maureen D'Amico, who responded to Rose Blue and said, I'm looking at serious dental work because of my dental phobia. Okay, sweetheart, sedation dentistry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Look into
That's
it.
what I did.
Sedation dentistry. And that's when it's like being in the flow, right? Where absolutely
you're not aware of anything. You're just out.
Yeah,
be careful. You might say something. It's happened to me. I've been in that state, and I told the doctor how handsome he was. He was so handsome. It's so embarrassing.
You have to make everybody
Rose Blue. A little Novocaine, and you're good to go. I don't care what my dental work is. If I feel anything, I raise my hand. He shoots me some more.
Right.
I'm good.
There you go. There you go. La la land.
I had 6 root canals done in one day because of sedation therapy, and then 5 years later, they had to pull them all out anyway. So
that's true. That's true. You're welcome, T-Lynn. I'm glad that you asked the question because I do believe it was beneficial for a lot of people. So that's always wonderful. So thank you. I want to also say there was something else here. Oh, Aley says, you ladies inspired me to tidy up the kitchen while listening. Usually I plan my workout at this time. I'm in a reading mood this summer. I checked out 6 new books. Well, enjoy, Aley. Get in the flow, girl. Yeah, that's awesome.
What?
That is awesome. Yeah. All right. We got one more question here. Yeah. All right. So Paula Ravita wonders if son Paul's how his outlook is for a new job. All right.
Okay. What I'm sort of getting right off the bat is he needs to get serious about looking for a job.
Marina, you read it out of my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm applying for everything. Yeah, I'm doing everything. Yeah. No, actually, you're not. You need to find a job, any job, and give him, if he's living with you, give him a deadline by which time he has to have a job, or he has to, find alternate living accommodations or whatever. But that's what his problem is it's not that he can't find a job, is that he hasn't he's okay. I'll say it. He's a little lazy in that department. Okay. He's looking for a job that's going to pay him $100,000 a year. And that's going to require him to show up maybe 1 hour a week. And those jobs are hard to find.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, just light a fire and tell him to get going.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So, Val, was that all you had to say, or did you want to
That's
add
all I had to say. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Sherry?
I pull strength.
And
you're the one that's going to need.
Yes, I was going to say that must be Paula.
Yes. This is for Paula because I got the same message Marina got, that Val got, he needs to be given some parameters. If he's not out actively looking, then he needs to have a long list of things to keep him busy all day.
Yes.
mopping, sweeping, scrubbing the toilets, whatever the case may be.
Oh my
If you're not going to
goodness.
get out and get a job, then you're going to work at home.
Oh, I'm loving that.
Because right now
oh my
he's
God.
with mama and he's expecting mama to take care of him.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure. Been there, done that. I made my
Me
kids
too.
at 16. You have to have a job. They went out the door.
Oh,
and had
mine
a
at
job.
16 had
Yeah.
a job too. They
Yeah.
all got
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah. I had to do it. They
But
had to do it.
they have to know how tough it is in the world when they don't have a
Absolutely.
college education and what it's like.
Yes.
To make.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So usually when I get this card, I say, oh, that person isn't being a snowflake. It just means it's winter season. But this time I think poor Paul must be being that snowflake. Because if he doesn't get going, he won't even have a job before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
Sorry, Paula. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't ask because she thought he was going to run out there like a house of fire.
No,
She asked because she knew.
She knew.
Yeah.
She did know. We are all behind you, Paula. We would be the same.
Yeah.
And I love what
Absolutely.
Mary is saying.
Yeah. There are many people that
There's
need
a
help
lot of us
and
that
willing to pay money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I just asked for an estimate to have somebody cut back my blackberry bushes because they're overtaking my yard. And that person could make, I don't know, $200 or $300 to do that. That's a hard job, but it's money.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
totally.
Maureen, we all feel bad for Paula at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah,
But
we do.
you know, it's really, I think it's hard. I didn't grow up setting boundaries with my in my family as much, except for the certain things like the job. But you know, and you hate to set the boundaries because you feel like some people feel like, I won't say everybody does, some people feel like their kids will hate them or they'll think they're awful or whatever it is. But we really need to do it. We're doing it for their
boundaries create a responsibility.
They do.
The reason why you have to get up every day and go to work just like everyone else.
Right.
So if you didn't set even that boundary, the other boundary is you live in this house, you got a job to do, clean the toilets, wash the dishes, because life happens and we all have to do something in the house. And you're not your kid's best friend. You're their mentor on how to live life.
I know.
Right?
But you,
And
I'm a
studies
soft
have proven psychologically that you
Uh-huh.
know, if you're not contributing, then you're kind of
freeloader.
Yeah.
Slow ride, take it easy.
But it just perpetuates it further and further.
It does.
Further, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because then you start to believe your own press in terms of, well, there's nothing out there. I've applied for everything. There's nothing out there. Nobody's hiring.
Nobody's hiring, which is not true. Right.
Yeah, Russia's saying teamwork. That's right. You're actually teaching your children teamwork when everyone has a job to do and everyone has to do a job in the family unit and at 16 outside. They have to make their money, you know, whether they want car and car insurance.
Yeah. So in 4th grade, my teacher asked us to go home and ask our parents if we'd have to pay rent when we were older if we lived at home. Oh. Every single one of us thought, no, my mother would never do that.
And then also,
every single one of us, yes, we would.
Because, you know, in that era, you don't want irresponsible kids. You really had to, you know, everybody has to pay their way.
They have to pay their way. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Even if it was $1.50 an hour.
We've had a whole generation of kids that grew up thinking that everybody gets a medal, everybody gets a ribbon, regardless of how much you put into it or how good or bad you were at it. If you just showed up, you were given something. And now they're going out into the real world and they're discovering, hey, they're not going to give you that job or that ribbon just because you show up. You're not going to get that raise just because you're on time every day.
That's right. We're getting a lot of agreement here about real world and people to live in it.
Shari, I love the point you just made. Really, really good point about entitlement. That feeling that all they have to do, and they barely even have to show up.
Yes.
And it reminds me of this one. I don't know if it was Instagram or what it was, TikTok. And I saw this one gal who had just graduated from college, and she started her first job, and she came home and she was sobbing. You know, she had the big eyelashes and the her iron hair, and she was just perfectly. And she said, and I had to go on the subway for an hour. And then I had to stand up, and then they made me, and I had to squat and blah 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 files and blah 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 at work, and then I got home and it was so late and I couldn't do anything.
Couldn't go out with my friends.
Couldn't watch my
tomorrow.
How does anybody do this? This is her first day. How does anybody live like this?
Yes.
And that's when you say,
Yeah.
But it was so dramatic that you had to almost laugh.
Oh yeah.
The sheer fact that you
Oh
felt
yeah,
that.
I've seen.
She's so deceived about what the real world is like.
I've seen some of these kids on TikTok and stuff, and it's like,
oh my
wow,
God.
you're
broke my
your 20s
fingernail.
and you're just
like
now getting an idea of what the real world is like.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working at 12, you know, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
that was the facts. I mean, we didn't have a choice.
So we're on our way out, everybody. It's a little after an hour. Kristen just says, I've done a lot of energy work, but feel like I'm stuck and maybe I'm not understanding what my guides are trying to tell me, but you're learning to let go of control. So what you're doing is you're going with the flow, Kristen. So thank you for ending this show. And thank you, everybody. It's been a great show. Thank you, Marina, Shari, Val, and everybody in the chat. And we will see you next time. I believe is it your turn, Marina?
Next time is Shari.
Oh, Shari. Shari's turn. Awesome. All right. So we'll see you next week. Same time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.